I need to distance myself even more. And I was one of those people that I already was so distant from everyone.
Like, when you say everyone, like your family in particular, or your group of friends?
Everyone.
Can you walk us through how someone would start to incorporate being more intentional with like their daily life? What are something that you can incorporate on a daily basis to help improve, you know, posture, functionality, all of these things that we talked about today?
And it's ironic because after I went home to go visit my family, and I was talking to my sister-in-law about my birthday. Oh, my birthday on the 10th. And my mom looked at me. She's like, you know, your birthday's on the 11th, right? 6th or 7th grade.
Wow.
I started helping others grow in there. You know, everybody wants to bench a lot and squat a lot. Mm-hmm. So I realized it was a psychological thing. When my friends were benching, I put my finger there. Obviously, I'm not lifting.
They just thought you were there.
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast, I Need More From You. I'm your host, Dr. Kristin Oakes. This podcast is meant to be both educational and entertaining. We're diving into all things health and wellness along with life because let's be honest, we all have more to give. Just real talk, real life. This is your space for laughs, learning, and leveling up. So buckle up and let's thrive. No excuses. Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of I Need More From You. We have Coach Matt in the house. Coach Matt, he is a movement expert dedicated to helping people relieve pain, reverse the effects of aging, and build unshakable confidence through intentional movement. His approach blends science, mindset, and mobility to help others feel strong, youthful, and empowered in their own bodies. So get ready to rethink what your body's actually capable of. Coach Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. So I actually met Coach Matt on the beach in Miami Beach. This guy right here was doing these crazy muscle ups, just like floating through the dang. I don't even know. Anyways, just goals, okay? Definitely want to be like you. I want you to teach me how to do muscle ups. You know, my pull-up game is not on point, so we've got to fix that. Work to do. Anyways, thank you for joining us. I just, you know, I want to know more about you. Did you grow up in Miami? What's your background?
No, actually, I was born in Brooklyn, in New York.
Okay, Brooklyn, New York.
My mom's from Barbados. My dad's from Jamaica.
Okay.
They came here as teenagers. I was raised in the Poconos in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Okay.
They wanted us to have a better life.
There you go. So you left Brooklyn, went to Pennsylvania.
It was somewhat.
Were you surrounded by Amish farms? I just have to ask. No. Okay. I love the Amish farms.
I never been over there.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So grew up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in the Poconos.
Uh-huh.
From there, I was there till about, well, let me backtrack because I'm about to skip over my whole life.
Okay.
So I come from 275 years of natural bodybuilders.
275 years of natural bodybuilders.
I got to throw in the natural because
that explains his physique. Just saying. Little swole. Just a little bit.
I haven't really been lifting weights that much either. I stopped about 4 years ago.
You stopped lifting weights 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had so many injuries. Now, you know, bodybuilders, all they do, they just want to look a certain way.
Right.
I want to feel and move a certain way.
Okay.
You know, so it's, by the time I hit 17, my body started falling apart. And my mom was like, you know, no woman's going to want you broken like that. Mm-hmm. But to me, I didn't really care. And then by the time I hit 25, I was walking with a cane.
Walking with a cane?
I could have used crutches, but I didn't want the chafing in my armpit. So I was
you switched to a cane because your body was so physically broken down from the lifting.
From everything.
Everything that you're going through. Okay. So 275 years of bodybuilding's in the fam. Yep. So that was just kind of like instilled in you from the jump.
I was squatting my Lego box at 2 years old.
Wow.
So, you know, when you see every man in your family working out, it's like, hey, I want to join.
Yeah.
And they're like,
it was the lifestyle.
Yeah, they're like, you can't lift weights. I'm like, I'm just gonna throw everything in my Lego box and just squat this then. And I'm doing like curls on my back. Like, so it was just little things like that. It was very, I guess you could say, mentally challenging.
Okay.
In my household. Maybe it was because of, our parents have traumas that they don't relinquish. And I feel like I got the little Chris Paul assist of trauma.
Okay.
And that definitely ends with my generation, me and my brothers and my sister. I see my brother raising his daughter, in a very respectful way. And there was something, it was a reel I saw, and it was like, you can't expect to yell at your kids and have them have a great day. You can't expect to like yell at them at the end of the day and make them have a peaceful
nice
sleep and things of that nature. So I don't feel I received much love as a kid.
Okay.
From my mom, definitely. And then so I grew up.
Your parents were together?
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up with a very tough exterior/interior, and that within being in your household. Now I take that outside, and people always tell me, like, you're very honest and very like
raw.
Yeah. Like, well, I don't know how to lie to people. Like, I'm gonna look you in your eyes. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't care how you feel about it.
That's a good trait to have. Better
Depending
than being
on who
a liar.
you're talking to.
Better than being a liar.
It's better than being a liar. You got to know how to
The truth hurts,
sugarcoat.
though. The truth hurts. And people don't like to always hear the truth. So
At all.
I appreciate your honesty.
Especially my clients.
Right. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, you can't butter them up. Got to tell them how it is so they can get their butt in gear, right?
It definitely is. So, what was it about? I was playing soccer when I was younger, but then I was too aggressive. And they were like, maybe...
Tone it down.
No, they're like, maybe you should play football.
Okay.
Because I was in a newspaper for soccer.
Wow. You were good.
Yeah, I was decent. I like to, like, downplay things.
You like to not...
Yeah.
You don't like to have all the credit of it.
I mean, realistically, it comes from, everyone around me because I'm a collective of everyone I've ever met. So I was playing soccer. I was doing good there. Then I went and played football, and it's funny, I was in the newspaper for that too. And the funny thing is, when I was in the paper, we lost the game. And it was like, the title was Matt Martin on the move. And I ran like a 90-something yard run and still didn't score. And we lost like 28-0, and how am I in the paper?
You definitely caught that reporter's eye. That's what you did.
He was like, your team sucks, but
if you had the support, y'all would win. Can't do it on your own. Not in a team sport.
And that's what I'm learning in life too, that I can't do it on my own. But even now, I'm still like aiming to do things on my own, even though I know I need a team. Every day I'm aiming to do things on my own. And they keep telling me too, like my whole social media group that's helping me. Shout out to the fitnesspreneurs.
There we go.
They've definitely been helping me exponentially in my growth and getting my message out to people, and I realized too, which is sad, that people want negativity. They don't want the positivity.
People love negativity. They love drama. They fiend for it.
Yes,
right?
And it's sad, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Besides feed into it, and then somehow reverse it, and then throw the positive, situations in there. So from there, I feel like the way I grew up was, it was mentally taxing.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to look like you. But they don't, because I inflicted healthy physical pain, so the mental pain would kill me.
Okay.
So it's...
That was your outlet.
Yeah. I mean, some people's outlet is like drugs and whatever the case is. But for me, it was, I'm going to test myself physically, so when the pop quiz of emotional pain comes, that I don't,
You don't have to feel those emotions or that experience.
But even to this day, emotional pain hurts way more than any workout I've ever done. Yeah. So it's like, I need to I need to get through that. That's part of what this detox that I'm doing now.
Tell us about this detox.
So this detox is it's more of a spiritual detox, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And I realized, so there's no meat, fish, and eggs. And when I realized on day 2 of not eating meat, I was less irritated and annoyed and agitated. So you take in the energy of whatever it is that you're eating. So I noticed on day 2 I was more calm and collective. But now on day 8, I'm just annoyed. So,
You're hangry.
yeah, I'm kind of hangry.
Kind of hangry. How many days are you doing this? You're gonna do like a month or
Like,
2 weeks?
I'm going day by day.
Okay.
I'm aiming for a month, and then we're gonna see where that goes.
Okay. You're just trying to kind of get more mental clarity in this cleanse, and
Yeah, it's
is that
kind of
what
like,
you're...
think of it as like I'm lowering my karmic debt, because when we kill and eat something, that I guess adds to it, I guess you could say, opposed to like plants and whatnot. So it's I'm still learning about this actually myself, and I'm willing to, so to say, get in someone's car and learn, let you drive and you teach me about your
You're
ways.
just trying it to see how it makes you feel, how you come out on the other side of this, regardless of how many days that you do it.
Yes.
Okay. I would be struggling too, not eating meat, fish, and eggs, because that's the bulk of our diet. So I can imagine your irritation now that you're on day 8. So
Yeah.
We'll
I
see.
didn't really eat anything today.
a lot of fasting too. I think fasting is super beneficial for everyone, but you're not fueling with, I guess in my opinion, nutrient dense meat to help you come out of that fast. You're, filling up on nuts, seeds, veggies, beans, those sort of things. So
Dates.
what'd you say?
Dates.
Dates.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part.
That's probably like the one sweet thing you're having right now. So
Yeah. Well, a lot of fruit.
okay, you are doing fruit too. Okay.
A lot of blueberries, blackberries, apples.
I could live with those.
Yeah, but sometimes I look at the fruit and I'm just like, this is not enough.
Not enough. No. Okay, so you're on day 8. You're going to see how long this cleanse goes and kind of how it makes you feel ultimately. Okay, that makes sense. So back to I guess you grew up with all the bodybuilders. You had the emotional trauma from growing up, and then your outlet was physical, being in the gym, lifting. You played sports too, so that was your kind of how you dealt with what was going on in the home in a healthier manner.
Yeah.
And then where did becoming a health coach, when did this set in, like this is what I want to do with the rest of my life?
So if you mix a bodybuilder with a social worker.
Mom was a social worker?
Yeah.
This makes sense.
So you
Okay.
mix that together, you basically get a health and wellness coach.
There you go.
And I used to go to work with my mom, and I felt bad because her boss would come and ask her questions, and I'm like, Mom, why is your boss asking you questions?
She was that good.
Yeah, she couldn't be the boss because she didn't live in that state, and she didn't live in that state so her kids could have a better life. So I'm like, oh, so it's my fault. Okay.
You took it as it was your fault for your mom's not being able to up that ladder.
Further her career. So basically it was. This is just how I take things.
That's how you take it,
in all
right?
honesty. Realistically, it's like if you weren't
It
here.
was of her choosing to make that sacrifice for her career to give you and your siblings their best life. But you took it as like, crap, I'm holding my mom back and I'm holding her down. And that's how you processed it. Yeah?
All the way.
So you were like, okay, health coach, this is me. This is what I want to do. I want to help people.
Around about, I think I was in like 6th or 7th grade.
Wow.
When I started helping others grow in there. Everybody wants to bench a lot and squat a lot. So I realized it was a psychological thing. When my friends were benching, I put my finger there. Obviously, I'm not lifting.
They just thought you were there.
Yeah, so when when
you got
somebody...
me.
Yeah, so when somebody was like, because they don't want you to touch the bar, now they'll put a little more effort into it.
Okay.
So psychologically, I'll just mess with you, and you'll do more. Just like now, I just lie to my clients and tell them we're doing a certain amount of reps, and you're doing more.
You're the one that's like the coach that counts bad.
Yeah.
Purposely.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the number I was on. We've already done that many reps. What are we doing here? Yep. My husband likes to do that to me too. I'm like, no, I finished. He's like, 5 more. I'm like, I've already counted to that number.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say 5 more because I'm lying. I'm like, no, there's 3 more. I'll always have like an odd number.
Okay, so it seems like crap. I miscounted.
3 more, or if it's like if I know there's 2 more, I'm like, all right, 5 more, or I'll be like, 7 more, and they'll be like, what are you counting? I'm like, this is how I count.
Yeah. So that was your mind trick on.
That's the only thing I lie about.
Okay, that's good.
But it helps you,
You're doing.
It hurts you to help you.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So you were young. You decided I want to. You were helping your friends in the gym, helping them with their reps, and that was like, yes, I want to be a health coach. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then you.
Well, actually, it wasn't even around then, because I was still doing all these bad things.
So you were doing bad things. Okay. When you say bad things, like this was like a rough part of your life because you weren't only, was this another outlet? You were doing it physically in the gym. That was your healthy outlet. And then you turned to unhealthy outlets too.
Love fighting too.
You love to fight.
Yeah.
I could see you as a scrapper. I hope that hair wasn't that long or you tied it up.
I didn't have hair at the time.
Okay.
I've only had this for the past 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's long for 10 years.
It goes down to about like here. Am I crying? I think
it's the light. Yeah. It's the light. Dry eyes in here. Okay, so you returning to fighting. That was your.
Yeah, that was like a nice outlet for me.
And that started in high school.
No.
Middle school. Okay.
I don't even know when it started, but
it was just like something.
It was just a part of me.
All right.
And then when was it? I think about after high school. Mm-hmm. I went through like 2 years of a lot of trauma.
A lot of trauma from fighting?
No. From just being in a box. And then
being a box?
Being in a box.
Being in a box. Okay, so 2 years after high school, you were in a box.
Yes.
And processing trauma in a unhealthy way.
Yeah, I guess you could say it was sort of a wake-up call for me.
Okay.
But at the same time, it wasn't.
It started to become, or you started to get more awareness, like, wow, I really need to change my crap and how I'm doing things.
It taught me that I was actually a lot smarter than I believed I was. Just like how I said before, I would always downplay things. Mm-hmm. Once you downplay things too much, you're going to actually believe that eventually.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mindset, right?
So then from there, I decided that, one, I need to distance myself even more. And I was one of those people that I already was so distant from everyone.
When you say everyone, like your family in particular, or your group of friends?
Everyone.
Okay.
Family, friends, my emotions. Mm-hmm. I was just...
disconnected.
Yeah, I was just completely disconnected. And I was like, let me disconnect some more. Mm-hmm. So, and I thought that was actually the hardest part in my life, but actually this year has been the hardest part of my life, but it's a whole nother section. Mm-hmm. And what I realized was that if I don't elevate in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to stay at this plateau. So from there, I moved, and I realized, it's funny, every time I vacation someplace, I end up moving there.
Really? Is that how you ended up in Miami?
Yeah.
You vacationed here from Pennsylvania?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a change.
The first time was to LA, though.
Okay, so you went from Pennsylvania to LA. PA to LA. That's a big change.
I drove across the country with my dog, by myself. It was like 3 days. It was a lot.
Made it to LA, and this was after you decided I needed to check myself and change my ways.
Because I'm like, I'm going to end up back in a box if I don't.
Yep. Okay.
So I chose to drive across the country by myself, just me and my dog. and I would drive for hours on end. I remember one time I think I was in Kansas. I saw like a unicorn go across the street, and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely tired.
It's time for a nap.
Yeah.
It's time to reset.
So I went to sleep, just in some truck stop. I wake up every 2 hours. After the third time, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to leave. And then I got to Colorado. And then from there, when I made it to LA, because I didn't know where I was going.
You didn't have a set destination when you left Pennsylvania. You were just kind of driving, and wherever you were ending up, that's where you were going to end up.
I put in a friend's address that I knew there, but I couldn't go there because I had a dog. He was like, you could come here. He's like, but your dog can't. So I was like, oh, all right, well, I'm going to figure it out.
Okay, so you just kept on driving, didn't really know where you were going, and then you made it to LA, and then you started a life there. How long did you live in LA?
15 months.
15 months?
Yes.
And it just wasn't it? You didn't like it?
Not that it wasn't it. So I met someone, and I wanted to have this gym. Actually, not that I wanted to have a gym. Somebody seen what I was doing, and they were like, why don't you get a gym? I'm like, well, I'd like to, but I don't have gym money. So it's like, I'll buy you one. And it's ironic because after I went home to go visit my family, and I was talking to my sister-in-law about my birthday. Oh, my birthday on the 10th. And my mom looked at me. She's like, you know, your birthday's on the 11th, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I had like one of those That's So Raven moments because I was born 11/11 and I didn't realize it.
You were born 11/11.
Yeah.
And this whole time you thought you were born 11/10.
From the age of up to 12, I knew that. And that's why, like, when I was 12, when I was telling you before, I just became, what would you call it?
Dissociated?
I was very angry.
Okay.
And that's when everything in my life changed. And that's when all the bad stuff started, now that I think about it. And the crazy thing is, I don't remember a lot about my childhood.
You've kind of just shut it out, and so you don't have to deal with it.
But now that I realize how bad that was, because now I have to double back, aim to remember everything. That's like when I see your 2-year-old son, I'm like, I kind of remember these things. And then when I see your youngest son, I'm like, I see like the universe in his eyes. It's crazy. So, and seeing your family too. I remember I saw you guys the first time, and I like almost shed a tear. I was like, damn, that's a nice family. I was like, I think they're a family. It seems like they're a family.
So sweet. Like, this lady's got a lot of kids, man.
Yeah, I was like, either these are like cousins or brothers and sisters. But either way, it was nice because, you know, that's the type of family everybody would like to, at least visually, you know, would like to grow up with, you know, work out together, you know, whether you want to or not.
Right.
You got a whole bunch of kids, you might as well. Like,
might as well.
Yeah, like seeing your family was like very emotionally stimulating. It was
Were you
nice.
like, okay, I need to process things from my childhood?
Yeah.
Like, it's time for me to deal with it?
That's part of this cleanse as well.
Okay.
The meat, fish, and eggs, and the celibacy part is fairly easy. I'm not like a fiend.
Right.
I'm not like thirsty. And then the intoxication, that's fine. And I don't gamble besides with my life, so.
Besides with your life.
You know, I mean, realistically, as an entrepreneur, that's kind of what you're doing.
Okay, yeah.
You know, because you make the wrong choice, you're kind of screwed.
Right.
So it's like playing blackjack or 21, you know? So from there, oh wait, what part were we at?
So you were gonna have a gym. You were gonna get a gym.
Oh, my bad. I'm bouncing all over the place.
That's okay. You were in LA. You were gonna get a gym.
Oh, so then
someone was gonna buy it for you. Yeah.
So what I was gonna do, I wanted to have. I would go to all these places. I would go to the massage parlor. I would go to my chiropractor, which helped me get my lumbar spine from 68% to 111 in 3 months, and they were surprised. I go to the farmer's market. I'd help them sell their vegan cheese, which was actually very good. I didn't even know
vegan cheese.
It was fire.
Raw cheese. I'm in.
It sounds. I know it sounds crazy.
Like what? Soy?
No. It was made the same way cheese is made.
With what?
Just without the dairy.
With what?
Like cashews. See, but so there was like, all right, so there was French Connection. It's herbs of Provence, grains of paradise, black olives, and brandy.
Okay.
There was Ethiopian Gouda. there was.
So there was a lot. You were helping them sell all types of cheese.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was basically like the #1 seller.
Hustler.
Yep.
Yep.
You work for them or did you just help?
I worked for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Slinging cheese.
Yeah.
Vegan
Slinging
cheese.
I didn't know what vegan cheese was before that either.
Yeah.
And I tasted some other ones. I'm like, yeah, it's disgusting. But theirs was actually pretty good.
Okay.
So it's called Misha's Kind Food.
So you were working at the farmer's market, slinging cheese. This is still in LA, yeah. Okay, and then that's
So
how you
then-
were just building your little network for the gym.
Yeah, so I didn't even know the gym was going to be a thing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to take everything that I was doing and put it in the gym. I wanted to have a masseuse in there. I wanted to have a chiropractor. I wanted to have meal prep, meals on demand, and a farmer's market outside.
Love that.
And when he heard me say all that, he was like, yo,
I'm in.
we don't have any of that out here. I was like, I know you don't. I create new things. I'm not. So from there, we were looking at the Gold's Gym because Gold's Gym was supposed to go out of business, apparently.
Right.
And then from there, he put up the money for that gym. Then the world stopped.
This was before COVID.
This was like right before COVID.
Chips.
So then
Couldn't go work out at a gym.
I don't need to work out at a gym. I just need a floor.
That's impressive. That's really good. And I think that's important for a lot of people to know too. You don't have to have a gym membership.
Yeah, you don't
You can work
need
out.
to have one.
You can work out wherever.
We just choose to
Have that place.
that place. Some people want camaraderie. Some people want to use it as an excuse, you know. But realistically, it's like you have a floor. You can do calisthenics. You can do some squats and push-ups and pull-ups and squat jump. You could apply metrics there. You could even do Pilates on the floor. You could do yoga.
You get
So many-
creative with it.
Yeah, just
So many
use your
things.
imagination, even though our imagination get taken away from us at a certain point.
So you were opening up the gym and then COVID hit. And then what happened?
And then from there, I was like scarred because I put all my money into it too. And I'm like, damn. So I'm like, okay, let me pack everything up, put
You're
it in
like, I'm
storage.
done. You're done?
No. I was like, let me put it in storage. I did all that by myself. Then I'm like, let me drive across the country, go
'Cause
back
you're
home
going to-
3 months.
Oh, going back to PA. Okay.
I drove across in 44 hours
Crushed it.
because nobody was really driving. So instead of it taking 44 hours to drive, I got
There's
back
no
and forth.
traffic.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was just speeding.
So
so
you
that
get back home.
I got back home, and then I'm like, damn, I'm a failure. But realistically, everybody kind of failed at that point.
I mean, when COVID hit, like it just, it ruined a lot of people's plans.
Yeah, it definitely did. So then from there, randomly one day I had a dream to move to Florida because it'd be the place I can move the furthest in my life with the least resistance.
Okay.
So I gathered myself. And
Where was the dog?
She was still with me.
Okay.
I gathered myself, and then I went to, I drove down to Florida, and I was in between Tampa and Orlando for like 2 weeks. I'm like, this ain't it.
I got to keep going.
Especially in Orlando when everybody was talking shit about Miami. And I'm like,
It's time to go to
you guys
Miami.
are haters.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but you're hating for some reason. So I was like, let me just go to Miami and see what's up.
Check it out.
And then I ended up I think I was in Little Havana.
Okay.
I'm talking to my friend one day on like Snapchat, like in a video chat. He's like, yo, is that a rooster on the bush? He's like, bro, you moved from PA to go to the hood? I'm like, nah, I'm just here, He's like, you don't even speak Spanish.
No.
I'm like, un poquito,
Right.
a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So then I realized where I was. And I was like, let me go over the bridge to the beach.
Yeah.
And then I've been here ever since.
When was that?
That was the end of September in 2020.
Okay. And so then this has been home.
Yeah, it's definitely been home.
Nice.
And
Go ahead.
and now, after this, the next step is outside the country.
You're leaving Florida.
I mean, I'm going to always have like
This is like,
I'm going to have a port here.
okay.
But I want to go to places like, I want to build, what is it called? I want to build compounds and blue zones for my kids I don't have yet.
In other countries.
Yeah.
All right.
And then in my parents' countries that I've never been to yet.
So you just want to travel more, experience other places, and
I need to experience life. I haven't really been able to do that because I would always tie myself down mentally. Even now, I still do that. I notice. So I need to expand and open my mind up. They say like you don't want to change because your nervous system, once you are looking to change, your nervous system will kind of pull you back.
you've got to rewire everything, right?
Yeah, that's why part of the reason why I'm doing this detox as well.
Okay.
It's very mind-boggling and mind-opening at the same time. But I still need to do it. You know, why would you? I don't want to be like 50, like, oh, I wish I would have done this and done that.
You'd rather just do the work now to deal with everything, so then you can have a more fulfilling future.
Yep.
So is that why, like, for your style of coaching, you focus on relieving pain physically and emotionally?
Yes, I always remember two sides. I always remember the people that I helped that didn't make it, and then there's the ones that I helped. You know, like, for instance, there was a lady, Roshana. I helped her lose 100 pounds.
100 pounds is amazing.
And it's funny because she came to me in the beginning. She was like, so look, I don't want to sweat.
I don't want to sweat.
I don't want to ruin my hair. And I want to be able to eat fried foods on Fridays.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. Okay. So you know what I had to do? I had to do burpees one day. She always reminds me of this too.
Burpees and not sweat?
No, I didn't care. I was going to make sure she sweat exponentially.
Okay.
I was going to do the complete opposite of what you asked for.
Asking.
I came and eating the oatmeal cream pie. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to have you do some burpees. She looked at me like,
What?
is that an oatmeal cream pie? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I could eat this. You can't. So I'm just being completely unrealistic as she was. So I like to match people.
So you just were, you know.
I'm like Petty McBeal.
There you go.
Yeah. So there was that, and then an individual, he had flat feet.
Wait a
couple.
minute. What was her name?
Roshana.
Okay, so she came to you with these expectations, and you just completely flipped them on the head and actually had her put in the work, and she lost 100 pounds.
Yep.
Amazing.
60 pounds was with me, and 40 pounds was after I left.
Okay.
Because
you taught her a good foundation and to help her continue her success.
I like to give people or help them build a foundation so that you don't need me anymore. You know, a lot of trainers or health and wellness coaches, whatever you want to call them, they'll make it so that you need them continuously. All right, but when I leave, you fall apart. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that.
You're training them that foundation. You're helping them with their confidence so that they can walk into, you know, a gym even or at home workout, whatever. They have the knowledge base to be successful down the road.
Yeah.
Because honestly, a lot of people are really intimidated by going into a gym by themselves. Like, they don't really know what to do, how to get started with that. So a lot of times going to a health coach or a trainer is a great first step to get your feet wet, get that foundation so you do have that confidence and feel comfortable in that environment.
Depending on which one you're going to. Because if you're going to one that just does regular commercial stuff, it's not going to work for you.
When you say regular commercial stuff, like, what does that mean?
The typical bodybuilding, the aesthetic situation, I guess you can call it. Because we live in a society now where everyone wants to just look a certain way. So imagine sitting from 9 to 5, compressing your body, then going to the gym, compressing your body in a sped up fashion. Now you're lifting all this heavy weight. Then you go home. Mind you, half people don't stretch. Half the people, they're just like, well, I only got an hour, so let me just lift. And then you're talking half the time. And it's like, oh, you couldn't be stretching. You could have stretched in that time that took you to talk.
That's so true. So true.
So there's that. And then it's like, what was I watching earlier? I was watching something yesterday, and they were like, you know, in this day and age, we need to teach kids how to sit because we just sit, slouch, and
posture.
Yeah, and then
I'm always trying to work on my posture.
And that's, you know, I'm always about postural alignment and, you know, correcting the posture because You're only as old as your spine. So I know 20-something-year-olds that look horrible just because of their spine. I always use analogies. Like, imagine pinching a straw and trying to drink through that straw. You're wasting energy.
It's tough.
So when you have all that scar tissue in your spine, what's happening is your body's wasting more energy, which is taking off the end of your life. And you don't realize it, nor do you care, because, like, well, I'm young, so it's whatever.
Just assume you're invincible.
Yeah.
Right.
Not, trust me, I used to think I was
And
invincible.
then it catches up to you. Yeah, you were walking around with a dang cane at 25, whatever it was. That is not invincible.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so that really just tweaked, kind of your approach to how you wanted to coach people.
Yeah.
And you focus on more of the postural alignment to help relieve pain. And then what about the emotional aspect of it? You do a lot of life coaching too, right?
Unintentionally.
Or helping, unintentionally, psychologically helping
Yes.
people through different struggles.
I remember when I started working at the gym before my brother had it, Forever Fitness F2 in the Poconos. She came to me and she seemed a little, like, I guess, sad. And, like, women want to look a certain way, and how society is.
Of course.
So I trained her for 3 months, and I remember she was like, because we were cool at this point. She's like, I really wanted to kill myself. I was like,
Wow.
How do we start a session off like that?
Just nonchalant.
Yeah. She's like, well, you say things like this nonchalant. I was like, yeah, but that's me. You're not supposed to do that to me, though. Like,
weren't
I'm
ready
supposed to
for
do
it.
it to you.
Yeah, you weren't ready for that.
Yeah. So she was like, yeah, but you told me. She's like, I remember that you would tell me all the things I needed to hear, and I didn't want to hear any of them. I was like, yeah, because I didn't really, not that I didn't care how you felt. I just know that at the end of the day, when you go home and you're contemplating whatever, you're going to run through the things that people told you. And then you're going to think about what I said to you. And then it's not that, like, oh, I want to be right. You're just going to be like, wow, like, maybe it's not worth doing that. So that, and then recently I started training someone who I seem to always, not always, many times I get the women that are emotionally distraught, and I aim to help them build themselves back up through movement, through, just a certain ideology that I have.
Yeah, that's huge, because there's so many people that are struggling with different ailments and things, a lot of emotional ailments, right? So you having that ability to help people in that way, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, to give them that confidence or help change their mindset and their perspective on or outlook on life, to not want to fall into that, vicious cycle of self-destruction, depression, that sort of stuff.
Yes.
So that's really a beautiful gift to have.
And the funny thing is, when they normally come to me, they're like, I just want to have a nice ass. I'm like, okay. I'm like, now there's going to be a lot more that's entailed. Just like, can we just work on lower body? I'm like, you're going to injure your upper body doing that. And you just working on your glutes, now you're going to have an imbalance and you're going to get hurt anyway. So we're going to have to work on,
The whole package, sister.
So what I would do is I'd have them do things that I know they can't do. And they're like, I can't do this. I'm like, I know. That's why we need to work on everything. Like, so you have to show people first, A lot of maybe trainers, so to say, that's why I don't like the whole, just the commercial aspect. You want to throw in certain things, like people need assessments.
People need assessments. That's important.
You need a postural assessment. Sometimes you need a mental assessment.
Yeah.
You need to see where someone's at and see what flaws they have, so that we can tweak your plan, customize the plan. And not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever the case may be. Now, I know
more holistic approach.
Yeah. Like I always tell people, you want to eat based off your blood type, your body type, where your parents come from, where you live, and what's in season. Now, if you have no idea how to eat, then that would be a great start.
Great starting point.
You could even just Google it or something. Like,
Diet is huge.
Well, really lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's your lifestyle.
Because if you work night shift, now your diet's going to be different than if you work day shift. And then depending on what country you live in too, and then what's in season, and let's say one of your parents live here and the other one lives there. And another thing I noticed too, between like races, like me, I can eat 70% fruit and still look like this. And then a lot of my, I guess, white clients, they can eat a lot of meat and process it and be perfectly fine. If I eat a lot of meat, I'm going to be very, very sluggish.
It's more sluggish.
Yeah, like extremely. So, and then back to like the other people don't realize that you can fix flat feet.
I have flat feet.
Well, just know that you're not as strong as you should be.
But you'll showed me that movement at the beach.
Tripod foot.
Tripod foot.
Because what happens is now when you have flat feet, your glutes don't fire properly, and that's your core.
So that's why I have a long back. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm.
No, that doesn't have anything to do with that. Okay.
I believe you have glutes.
Well, okay. I got to work on them. I feel like legs are a struggle, so.
How?
I'm blaming it on my flat feet.
We could do that.
Okay. So
And you know what? You need open toe box shoes.
Wait, say that again. Open toe what?
Open toe box.
What does that mean?
So you know how women like to wear those pretty shoes and their
Yes.
and their toes look like this?
Yeah, those are painful.
Yeah, so you need an open toe box. So
Oh,
that,
I get what you're saying now.
yeah, like see how my toes can
Does
just.
Nike make open toe box shoes?
I don't think so.
No.
I think that's something different. I'm not
I'm
too
gonna
sure.
look and
Don't
see
quote
what
me.
are cute open toe
You
box
can get some
shoes.
zeros.
Or barefoot.
You can get. I walk around barefoot all the time.
Barefoot at the beach, barefoot training.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do a lot of.
Right. I love that.
I
Get
remember-
some grounding in.
My friend,
Okay, I need open toe box shoes. Got it.
zeros, bear steppers.
Okay.
I'm actually looking to create my own
All right.
soon.
If you can make some cute ones, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make some. I'm gonna
Very
take suggestions from people as well.
Okay.
It's not just gonna be me. I want it to be like a community-based type situation.
A community effort on the fashion. Okay.
Goes for
so
me.
for flat feet, I need open toe box shoes. I need to do the tripod
You got a tripod foot, stand on the base of the big
so
toe.
that I'm firing my glutes.
So you want to stand on the tripod foot, the base of the big toe, the base of the pinky toe, and the heel.
Mm-hmm.
Squeeze the glutes, and while planting the feet, kick the knees out,
Yes.
and you'll feel your glutes a lot more.
Yes.
You basically have glute amnesia,
I do. Glute amnesia.
and a lot of people don't realize they have it
Okay.
because it goes away so.
So I'm
Slowly?
like compensating and
Yeah.
not firing my glutes.
hmm
Okay.
Think about
So when I'm doing like all types of exercise, I need to be firing that tripod position.
even if you're doing a bicep curl,
Okay. I got to work on that then for sure.
you'll notice how much stronger you're gonna become over time. That's another thing because I mainly target people that have knee, hip, and back pain, especially lower back pain.
I feel like that's such a common complaint about someone is always blaming an injury on why they can't work out. And most of the time, it's a shoulder, a back, a knee. That's just what I feel like. Oh, I can't work out because my shoulder or my knee or my back, whatever. Okay, so with those different elements, what are things we need to focus on?
So with the shoulder, a lot of times we don't. When's the last time you put your hands over your head? Like the average person that doesn't, even people that exercise,
Yeah.
but that don't functionally exercise. That's why functional movements are important.
Okay.
Because those functional movements are just like a squat. It's not really a exercise. It's just a movement that we do. We call it the Chinese squat, but realistically, it's just the human squat.
Just squatting.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then with the shoulders, rear delts, all the things I've noticed that people need to work on, their feet in general, their tibialis, their shin muscle, their hamstrings, I need to stretch that. Their glutes, their glute medius especially. So the glute
Glute
medius, this way you don't get sciatic pain
Okay.
because your piriformis, it's going to be pinched in between there, and then you're just
Have
going
the
to
radiation of the
it's
pain.
just going to get choked by your glute medius, and then next thing you know, you're dealing with sciatic pain going up and down, your back, or down your leg and
Yep.
up your back. And then what else is it? Especially for men, hips. That's a big thing. And
I feel like with all the kids, for me, like weak hips. I have weak hips.
so maybe you need stability.
So like yoga.
Like maybe some Copenhagen's.
What's a Copenhagen?
So let's say you're doing a side plank off of this, and you have one leg on
A
it.
side plank like this.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
one leg on here, the top leg on here. Almost, but like,
I have one leg up here
yeah,
and one leg
the
down.
top leg, and then the other leg will be like this. You'll be like this.
Oh, okay.
And it'll help you build that stability in the hips. And you can like do the hip drop.
Okay.
You drop the hip, come up, drop the hip, something like that.
Okay.
Also, you're gonna want to check out Megalit Fitness.
Megalit.
Megalit Fitness.
Megalit.
The Legree. They have Legree over there. It's like Pilates.
Oh,
but-
this is that place that you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah, that place is lit.
That place is lit. Hey, pretty lit. Okay, Megalit Fitness.
Yeah,
and that's
so-
more of like a Pilates style.
It's like some people say it's like a vigorous Pilates.
Pilates is vigorous, so more vigorous.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
There's so many players sports players, well, maybe NFL players, basketball players. Some of that basketball players don't even talk about it because they know that other people would be a lot better, so they just don't say anything. But no matter what sport you play, like for instance, your kids, it will be great for them to do that
Okay.
because it's going to help them grow exponentially within their craft. Like the Sean, the owner over there, his son plays soccer, and he was like, "Yeah, my son's been doing this since, he was young, and he may not look so strong or whatever the case is, but he's a whole lot because it helps with the tendons. I'm all about building the joints, ligaments, and tendons. That's why when it comes to the little things that I was saying with the tibialis and say then the hips, and then the spine, like because you're only as old as your spine. A lot of us don't rotate. When you see people walking like a penguin, that's because they have no rotation
Okay.
in their body. And then when you see people with their feet, they walk like a duck. They got the duck feet. They have a lot of thoracic scar tissue. So
So you're just helping people based off the assessment improve their functional movement.
relinquish their compensations so that their body can function the way it was supposed to, so that they can have exponential gains. Like that client I was just telling you about, he messaged me like 30 minutes ago, and he was like, "Yo, I'm seeing crazy amounts of growth." Because the first week he's like, "Yo, this isn't really that much." I'm like, "Give it like another week or two." By the end of like third day, he was like, I feel like more in control. Like I'm basically giving you the manual booklet on how to utilize your body.
Okay.
It's boring at first, yes, but
It's
then
different, right?
yeah,
It's different than what you imagine like what your fitness routine would look like.
people want to sweat and do this, that, and the third, but they don't realize that I believe it's 84% of your body fat comes through the exhale. It's not sweating, it's not defecation, it's none of that.
Okay.
So that's why when you breathe properly, that's what's going to help you expel the body fat. You could sweat all you want, but if
It's
you're
the
breathing
breath
in and
work.
out of your mouth, that's not really going to help you. And on top of that, your facial structure is going to change and you're going to look ugly.
That's so true. Mouth breathers. I know.
It's like Hey Arnold. But,
Hey, Arnold.
what was his name? Stinky?
I don't remember his name.
He'd always
But
get punched in the face.
You have to. So mouth breathing, changing the structure of your face,
Mhm.
focusing on breathing in and out of your nose through that exhale, burning the fat, proper body alignment, posture, all of these different functional movements is the things that you focus on to help people be more successful without, I guess you're decreasing injury risk and without
Yeah.
the pain.
Exponentially.
Right.
And like another two people, so back to the spine, I had a client named Gallo, and he had spondylolisthesis,
Okay.
which is when the column of your spine shifts forward. He sent me a picture, and he was like this. And then I remember the doctor told him, "Oh, you're never going to be able to surf again, blah, blah, blah."
Because he was crooked.
Yeah.
He's never going to be able to surf again because he's crooked.
Yeah. But it's a good thing that he met me. He was telling me, he's like, you set the foundation on how to move for me. So about a month later, he felt a little bit better, and then he was able to train. So someone from Muscle Beach. They introduced him to me, and we were training. 2 months into training, he's crazy. He went to Puerto Rico, and right before the hurricane in Puerto Rico, it's like, oh, it's gonna be a hurricane. Yo, let's fly out there and just go surf. Like, what?
Into danger zone.
And you're about to have a kid.
Oh, even better. I bet baby mama was thrilled about that trip.
So he messaged me. I think I actually posted it today. He messaged me and was like, it's like, yo, bro, I almost cried. Like, I had a PR, surfed the biggest wave I'd ever surfed before.
That's so cool.
And I was like, you just tell your doctor that? He's like, why would I tell my doctor? Like,
they told me I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
And I'm like, and then he got to hold his daughter without wincing in pain when she was born. I'm like, wow, that's like a movie.
That's really cool.
Like, I like testimonials like that because it's like
real life.
Yeah, it's real life. Imagine you holding your newborn just
in pain.
It's like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
In so much pain. And then there was another individual. He was about 65. He saw me doing the muscle ups at Muscle Beach. He was like, wow, I want to learn stuff like that. He's like, I just retired and
I got all the time.
Yeah, he's like, and I don't know what to do anymore. So we sat there and talked for like an hour. And then he came back at like almost 66 doing all this crazy stuff. I'm like, yo, how'd you learn how to do that? He's like, I just listen to what you said, watch some YouTube videos.
That's cool.
Like, wow, that's what happens when people listen to me? Same thing my chiropractor said when I got from 68% mobility to 111. Shout out to the spine checker. They definitely helped me.
They're like, you're a patient that actually listened and followed through with the treatment plan of how.
Because when I would go there, instead of me being on my phone doing the exercises, I go there in like workout gear,
Ready to rock.
Yeah, I'd be the only one sweating doing all the exercises. And he gave me his book and he signed it and everything. He's like, "Yo, you really, inspired me." And I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy because you own this place and like you're the one that does all this stuff." So I'm like, "I don't know how I'm inspiring you."
Yeah, that's cool.
So it was nice. And David, the one he's 69, he'll be 70 in January. Right now he's in Barcelona. So with David, like he's all over Barcelona right now doing pole mounts. He's from Chicago. So you know what a pole mount is?
No.
You know when you hold on the pole and you can just like extend your whole body?
Oh, I see some guys doing that at the beach sometimes.
And he has like 21-year-old standing on his stomach. And he told me, I was like, what was one of the like biggest things I was able to help you with? He was like, you made me realize that age is just a number.
Amen.
And that's wild because I was only 28 and he was 64 at the time.
And he took your advice.
Yeah.
Which
this is why
really cool.
I want to be a life coach. But I'm going to wait until...
What are you going to wait until what?
I'm waiting.
You have more life? What? Put it off?
Kind of.
And then it's too late?
No, I was going to wait only because... I mean, not necessarily wait because I'm doing it right now.
You're doing it without knowing you're doing it.
I'm doing it within my clients. Yeah, just there's no title of that.
Yeah.
I'm doing the part that they tell you that you're not supposed to do in the personal training book. when they're like, you're supposed to, like, how...
Keep it superficial. Don't go into the details. Don't get too attached or invested.
Exactly.
But you care. So
I care too much.
You're life coaching without intentionally life coaching.
Yeah, I'm unintentionally life coaching.
There you go.
And it's because I don't want others to... I always said that I would never take my life. And I'll take the pain away from others. Like when I was 4 years old, I said I wanted to take people's pain away.
Wow.
But now as I grow in age, it's a lot.
That's
and
a lot of pain to endure yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody else's pain. That's a lot. That's a big burden.
So now I direct people down the path, which way to go. Instead of A, B, and C, I'm like, yo, just go down B. When you hit the fork, just make it right. Watch out for the guillotine. And somebody's going to be shooting too. So just make you put your vest on.
There you go.
And then, things like that. So I just want to make sure that others are equipped
with the tools that they need.
So now when they have kids, they don't, hit their kids with the Chris Paul, with the assist of trauma.
All the trauma.
All their trauma. I didn't even realize how much trauma I had until I got into a relationship recently.
That's when it started to surface.
I was like, wow, somebody really loves me. I was like, oh, it's crazy. It's not in my family.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was just like, but I messed that up. So I was like, oh, I got a lot to work on. Okay.
Well, at least you acknowledge that.
Oh, yeah.
You acknowledge where you fell short, what you need to do better for next time. So
People
set
come
yourself
into
up
your
for
life
success.
to teach you things. Sometimes that pisses me off. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, how can I just done it right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's okay though. That person definitely helped me grow, whether they know it or not.
Which is cool.
Yeah. And now, because I noticed I keep hitting certain points in life and I keep falling short and keep falling short. And it's like I keep plateauing. So I'm like, okay, I need to try something different. I need to aim to go in a different direction.
Switch it up a little bit.
That's what this detox is about.
Okay. So now it's full circling.
Oh, I'd like to go get some beef tacos or something like that. And another thing too, I don't know where that meat actually came from. So it's like, it's kind of, for all I know, it's 3D printed meat for all I know.
That's terrible. That's how I feel about fake meat.
Oh yeah, no. Like,
That's like
I always tell
poison.
people the Impossible Burgers are impossible to digest.
It's impossible to even eat that. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
I would never,
Not about
that's
that
not
life.
really, that's just processed vegan food.
That's just blended up.
And even then,
chemicals.
I would never be a vegan. I'd be a vegetarian.
I tried that.
Sorry to my vegan friends.
Sorry, not sorry. I can't. I tried being vegetarian in high school because I saw some like animal video of these chickens, like how they were living, and it was like grossed me out. So I didn't want to eat any meat. That was a complete fail. Plus, I was so young. I didn't even know anything about being a vegetarian. Did it completely wrong. Anyways,
That's what
wasn't the life for me.
the
Meat.
mung dal I was telling you about.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna stay away from those beans, but I'll watch you eat them.
Watch,
How about
I'm probably gonna honestly gain weight because of this.
Gain muscle.
Yeah, gain muscle. Well, when I say gain weight, I mean gain muscle. I'm not
You want gains?
like when I started lifting weights for like last month. I did a whole month of lifting weights. I gained 18 pounds in 25 days,
Wow.
and it's only because
You have really good genes. Bodybuilder genes.
I mean, and it's funny
Super
because
cool.
my roommate was like, "Ain't no way you gained that much weight." I took pictures of it. I mean, people just believe me. I mean, at the end of the day, they're gonna see that I look bigger, and it's like, yo,
Yeah.
how did you, like, I always get the, yo, are you natty?
Yes.
Yeah.
Natty.
At first, I never knew what natty was. These kids came up to me. They're like, yo, are you natty? And I'm like,
I didn't know
What's
what natty
that?
was either.
Me neither,
My
but it's
my husband was like, "Oh, natty hydration." I'm like, "What does natty even mean?" And he's like, "Natural." Everyone's saying natty. I'm like, "Okay,
yeah.
natty." Yeah.
Because I was talking
Maybe
about
Lily
it.
is the one that I don't know who brought it up.
I
but
think
anyways,
I think it was me.
you're the one that said
Wait.
natty.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that's what it was. He was like, Matt even said natty. I'm like, oh, so it is a thing.
Well, yeah, I wasn't the one that brought it up to him, but I guess I just solidified the fact that it's
Natty.
a thing.
A thing.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
it's just like
Slang.
it's like a slang, whatever. So I used to get annoyed when people ask me that. I'm like, yo, how do you have the audacity? Like, I've been working out since I was 2 years old. That's 30 years of doing whatever.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize, let's say you've been working out for 10 years. You were probably working out for like maybe the whole 10 years wrong. And
When you actually do it right, how big of a difference it actually makes on your overall physique.
And then, is your posture even correct? And then is your form correct? Because if your posture's not correct, your form's not going to be correct. And now you're compensating even more, so then you're probably going to get injured.
Yes.
So you're going in a vicious cycle of just
distraction.
potentially,
Trying to get better, but going backwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're walking up the down escalator.
That's tough.
And then you're trying to jog up and then you trip. Then you cut your leg.
That's bad. When you smack the shin, that's never a good
Then it gets infected. And then you're still going. And then
That's
it's
just
like,
so bad.
it's like, I'll let it go. It's like, bro, but it's turning black.
Yep.
So-
Gangrene falling off.
I'm
So when
still
you actually do it right, you actually see the results that you want
faster.
faster. Yeah.
And, everybody wants that.
Instant fix.
Yeah, and it's like,
That doesn't
okay.
exist when it comes to, I mean, if it's not going to be long-term success. It's not going to be lasting.
Mm-mm.
And when you want that quick fix.
We need to.
Surgery, people go and get surgery, but then guess what? If you're not making those lifestyle changes, you're going to end up right back to where you were, and then you got to do it all over again.
So
it's cute for a little bit.
There was an individual my brother was training at his gym. He helped her lose 50 pounds, which is a lot. Then she
50
went and
pounds
got
is
like
huge.
a gastric bypass or something
Yep.
like that. And then she ended up getting gout and like gangrene and
That's so bad.
and I'm like, yo,
That's
you just
terrible.
lost 50. Why wouldn't you just lose the other 50
Keep
the right
going,
way?
sister. Yeah.
Because now, once you do that, you think you don't have to do the hard stuff you were doing before.
Right.
But life doesn't stop.
It doesn't work that way.
You know, and I realized that when, like, for me, I'll take people's pain away, right? And I'm not the type of person like, oh, I'm just gonna off myself. But I would stop. But life keeps going. So now I'm behind again. So I would keep taking people's pain and I kept falling behind. I kept falling behind. And now I'm realizing that, and literally this year, it's probably been harder than my box life.
2025 is more rough.
This is the year of completion.
Wow.
225 equals 9.
Okay, so what is this? What are you telling me?
That you're coming to the end of something and there's going to be a new beginning next year.
So 2025 has been rough.
Yeah, it's definitely been the
It's
closing.
only May.
Oh, yeah.
It's only May.
Yep.
So we're going to go up from here.
Yeah, most
Right, Matt?
definitely. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Because
Okay.
I realized it was just one time. What was it? I think it was a few years ago. That was the beginning of understanding this. I think I took some mushrooms.
Oh, gosh.
And but I took it when I was in a bad mood, which you're not supposed to do.
I don't know.
And that time, and like my phone stopped working randomly.
While you were on the mushrooms?
It was before it. It was earlier in the day, so I don't know why I would even take the mushrooms. I went to the Apple store
Okay.
to go get another phone. Like, oh, you got to make an appointment. I'm like, yo, my phone doesn't work, and I have to work. Like,
I hate that. You have to make an appointment.
yeah, I'm like, yo, just, you know, and I'm like, this isn't even my fault. I went to go update it, and it just stopped working. It would only work on Wi-Fi. I'm like, yo,
It's those updates.
yeah.
They wanted you to go buy a new phone, Matt.
And I didn't update my phone for 6 months. I just kept putting it on. I was like, oh, I got time today.
Yeah.
Let me do it. So then my one friend was like, yo, bro, you all right? You something you having a bad? You want some mushrooms? And I know damn well not to take those when
Good Lord.
when you're
What
in
were
a bad.
you thinking?
I don't know. I took it. I cried for like 3 hours.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm looking off my balcony. I'm like, damn, bro, if I jumped off this, I wouldn't even die. It's not even high enough. And I'm thinking,
That's so jacked up.
and I'm like, because my friend that took his life, I see him too. I'm like, damn, bro, now I see why you took your life. I was like, but I know that tomorrow will be better. So I'm not going to do that. And,
Praise the Lord. I wouldn't be sitting here with you, Matt.
but the crazy thing is, I was crying for my dog that was going to die the next month.
Next month.
She died the next month.
Because you knew she was sick.
She wasn't even sick yet. She got sick like 2 days later.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. So I felt like I was like crying for the future. And then for whatever other pain that I had before.
You were just letting it out. Experiencing it finally and working through those emotions.
I still got to do that.
Right.
I got to figure that out though.
You can't suppress it forever. Little by little.
I'm aiming to not.
Little by little, work on it, work on yourself.
I'd like to just let it all out at once, but
I don't know how to do that.
yeah, actually, I did some, what is it, MDR therapy type situation. It helped a little bit. It made me realize that the household I grew up in mentally was like prison.
Okay.
So then when the real thing came, it was like, oh, I'm at home.
Here we go. That's it. Yeah.
So like, yeah, when the real thing came, I was like, oh, I'm at home, you know? And I'm like, that's not healthy. Somebody's like, yeah, you know it's not healthy, right? I'm like, oh, because in my reality, that's all I know. So
That's what you knew.
yeah, that's all I knew
Until
at the
you
time.
broke that cycle.
I'm breaking it.
Breaking it. You're still
Yeah.
working on it. We're all a work in progress, right?
We all teach the things that we need. A lot of people don't realize that. It's like, oh, that's why when I ask people what they do, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's your crutch, I guess.
That's it.
/ what, what you're giving back to the world. So it's just, little things like that.
So you're still working on yourself. Okay, so for people that are listening to this and they want to know what would you tell them are the necessary tools to get started in a pain-free workout?
First, you need to know what is it that you're fighting against. That's first off.
Okay.
Because, like, for instance, people are like, oh, my knees hurt, so they don't want to do, whatever movements.
Squats, lunges, whatever.
Yeah, and then they have chicken legs, and they look like a clothespin. So I call that the jail body. When you got, like, a big upper body and then
no legs.
And it's like, oh, where are your legs at? So there's that. It could be ailments in that aspect. Like when I was younger, I hated doing hack squats. I love doing squats, but hack squats I didn't like doing.
Hack squats.
Like,
What's a hack squat?
the hex bar?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, that. I
didn't know
hated
what they were
doing
actually
that.
called.
Yeah, just, there's names for everything. You could name it whatever.
Well, now I know.
So, like deadlifts from the side, I guess. I don't know, whatever. And then that's really where the assessment comes in for people, and then learning how to work around it in a healthy manner. Like, for instance, those step downs I was showing you before. Remember how I was doing the sissy squat and I put my head all the way back?
Yep.
And my knees touch the ground?
I didn't do good at that.
So, but there's regressions. So they need to start with the regressions and work in the range of no pain. When you work in the range of no pain, then you'll build up, a bigger range of no pain rather than hitting the red zone every time. What do you think's going to happen after you hit the red zone so many times?
More
Something
injuries.
bad's going to happen. Something's going to pop and then you're going to stop. And then it's going to be one of those, well, as I'm getting older, and it's like, no, that's an excuse.
To aging or something
Yeah.
else.
I could show you like 5 good people right now that I know personally that either I helped or that have just come a long way that are dealing with, or that were dealing with pain or whatever the case may be. And they got around it they got over it actually, and got through it the proper way, rather than surgery, rather than just, I don't know, whatever compensation. Yeah. Things like that. So, and then also I tell people, like, say you're dealing with pain and you want a pain-free workout, start off with body weight stuff because you want to understand the body.
Yes.
Because technically weights is like a natural steroid.
A step up.
Yeah, it's a step up. To me, it's like a natural steroid because if you were to stop doing that, you're going to get smaller. If you do calisthenics and you get sick, God forbid, you're not going to really get smaller. You might be a little bit weaker, but you're not going to get smaller, really. People was like, oh,
can you just tell me, for people that don't know calisthenics, what is calisthenics?
Calisthenics is body weight training.
Okay.
So whether it may be a push-up, a squat, then you can go into like single leg squats, single arm push-ups, clapping push-ups, pull-ups, dips.
Anything body weight related.
Yeah, anything body weight, really.
Okay.
And then from there, now you could take it into yoga, Pilates, Legree. What else is there? Plyometrics. Yeah, gymnastics.
What did you call it? Megalift?
Megalit. Yeah. Megalit Fitness.
Uh-huh.
And, and then you can go into weighted calisthenics. And then
That would be like adding in the kettlebells or adding in the dumbbells.
Or
squats,
just, no, not even that. Just get a weight belt and do dips with the weight belt in like, I don't know, a 10 pound, a 20 pound, a 30 pound.
Okay.
Because now you're building up the joints more. Like, you could think of it as you're building up the muscles, but I think of it as I'm building up the joints more. Because the muscles follow the joints.
Increasing the stability by strengthening the muscles around the joints. More protective.
Yeah. Because when you think about if you hurt, like, your tendons, ligaments, and whatnot, that takes way longer to fix than the muscle tear or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But if you tear that ligament, or whatever the case is,
it's going to put you out for a while.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to get like reattached, and that's not something you want to deal with just because you wanted to be macho. I see that all the time in reels. That's why you see like bodybuilders, when they do the preacher curls, they'll come to about here, and then they'll go back. But I always tell people you want to work in a lengthened, you want to strengthen in a lengthened range. That's why I like Pilates and Legree, because you're strengthening in a lengthened range.
Okay, so you're saying like to make sure you do full range of motion.
I
You
believe in
see
full
better
range.
results with full range of motion.
It's more
Whether
functional.
it be in bicep curls. What about squats? Like butt to grass?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can start off with, don't start off that way.
What is your comfortable range of
Yeah.
motion? Work within that range and then
Slowly.
slowly increase
Yeah.
how far you can go, how far you can extend even.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like, see how we sit at 90 degrees? So our dorsiflexion, which is how far the knee can go over the toe, that regresses. So what you want to do is like when you walk down steps, your knee's going over your toe. We just don't realize it. We don't look at these things. We just like, oh, I got to go from point A to point B. So slowly start doing things like that. Be more intentional
With your movement.
about how you move and what you're moving, what's happening, why you're doing it, you know, contracting
So
certain
not
muscles.
Focus on like, oh, I just need to move this 10-pound weight or this 15-pound weight. Focus more so on the actual form before you add on the weight.
Yep. Focus on your form, on your posture, on your breathing.
Okay.
A lot of people, they'll do a set and I'm like, are you holding your breath? They're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I have to remind myself, make sure I'm breathing and not holding my breath. Can you walk us through how someone would start to incorporate being more intentional with like their daily life? What are something that you can incorporate on a daily basis to help improve, you know, posture, functionality, all of these things that we talked about today?
I would
Something
say
simple.
park further away from wherever you're going to go. And as you,
Park further away. Okay. I
Yeah.
like that.
and just focus on how you get out the car, how you get in the car. Like a lot of people don't realize their knee rotates. So as you're getting out the car, your knee's rotating. You know what I mean? And then you're pushing off of that. But are you pushing off your heel? Are you pushing off your toe? Because some people hurt themselves doing that. Look at it like maybe our parents or our grandparents. They look like they're walking on a tightrope a lot of times. And it's because we train on one leg, or we train on two legs, but we should be training on one leg because we walk on one leg at a time. We're balancing and stabilizing in between every step.
You get what you're saying?
You know, so doing the little step downs, stepping out to the side, stepping out to the back. And it doesn't have to be anything drastic, you know. Even doing like say getting up from here. Instead of like putting your hands on your knees and standing up, drive through that tripod foot, squeeze your glutes, kick the knees out, and stand up. So really be more intentional with the things you're already doing in life and how you're moving.
Okay.
Because I always tell people, like what I do for people, I assess the body, we'll fix the assessment, we'll go through functional movements, balance and stability, calisthenics, multi-directional movements, and then we'll begin to add weight. So it's like people just skip to like
Throw the weight on.
level 10, and it's like, what about, you don't even know how to use your body properly. So why would you add
Get
stuff
that
to
foundation first.
it? Yeah. You're not
Okay.
going to build on a broken foundation.
Amen to that.
You know, I always tell people, we start off as a river. Like, for instance, if you look at your kids, you start off as a river. You move around exponentially, and then it somehow just becomes childish. So then we become a stream by the time you're like 30 years old. In this day and age, like 25. And then our parents become a pond. And what grows in the pond? Algae and debris. Now that's your scar tissue and your disease. So you can relinquish that, but nobody wants to walk backwards, which that's another way to help build up the knees. My clients that are in their 70s, I have them walk backwards. There was a lady, she was like, what is walking backwards going to do for me? I'm like, watch, just do that. You'll see. She came to me like, I think about like a week and a half in. She's like, my feet aren't swollen anymore.
That's
Like,
awesome.
my knees feel better.
How
Yeah.
far do you have to walk backwards?
Now they say for every 100 steps backwards is 1,000 steps forwards. But I'd say, you know, do as much as you can. Like, everyone's different.
Like, you're not telling people to go walk a mile backwards,
No,
are you?
No, I'll do that, but
I mean, that's something like I would try to do. If you told me to try that, okay, I'll
Yeah.
try to walk. We'll all walk backwards.
Yeah, like
tomorrow,
just
you know?
jog backwards a little bit, you know,
Okay.
and just aim to do new things. Walking sideways, like the karaoke walk. Sled pulls backwards too. That would be like the next step up.
Okay.
Yeah, like you have it around the waist. You have tie the strap around the waist, and you walk backwards. Things like that. And same thing with the karaoke, or even a parachute.
Okay. So, just being intentional with your
Everyday
activities
life.
of daily
Yeah.
living, right? Parking farther away from the door, paying attention to how you're getting
Taking
in
the
and
stairs.
out of the car, taking stairs. How do you get up from a seated position?
Understand
Sit.
how much time you sit down.
Yeah.
A lo-
Like people are just so sedentary. And like you said, you are in an office all day long, you're sitting down on your butt, then you get in the car, drive to the gym, and then you want to like, I got to get this in an hour, and you're skipping, you know, that warm up phase, stretching, getting your body prepared for another loading exercise.
Exactly. It's very minimal and minuscule things, and they all add up. So people are like, well, you know, everything's like when you tell people about health, they're like, well, everything's killing us. We're gonna die eventually. Okay, so why don't you look at it from the other side and find little intricate ways to heal yourself? Like, okay, I'm gonna not eat until, say you wake up at 6. I'm not gonna eat until 8. Your liver releases sugars anyway. It's gonna help you get through the day. I learned this when I was in the military because it'd wake us up at like 4.
In military, you said?
Yeah. It'd wake us up at 4. That's when I joined at like 17. And we wouldn't eat until about like 7:30. And they would smoke us, which is make us work out basically for those like 3 hours.
In that fasted state.
Yeah.
And y'all survived.
Yeah. Actually, I gained 30 pounds. No, I gained 40 pounds in 10 weeks.
40 pounds.
I went from like 160 to 200 and some change. And then I had a heat stroke.
I can't imagine you 200 and some change.
I'm on like 180 right now.
Wow.
And I was 17.
Wow. That was huge. Well, no wonder you had a heat stroke. That's a lot of weight to be moving around.
And I would sweat a lot. Now they had us in full gear and everything.
Of course.
And it was always HECAP 5, which is 90 degrees. I respected my my drill sergeants though. I had a female and a male, Eric Rosa and Susan Duvali. He was a government shoot sniper, and she saved the guy that we thought was a badass. He had got shot. She came off the Black Hawk and suppressed fire, which basically killed everybody.
Wow.
And was able to, and carried him at 300 pounds with all his gear, 300 meters away, got him on the Black Hawk, and then was able to go. And
That's
it's like,
incredible.
that's why I like dangerous women, because it's like,
She was set the bar high.
yeah,
She set
she
the
was
bar high.
Samoan, so it's just,
Oh, she was Samoan.
yeah, so it just makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense now. Just big boned, super strong, and she had the mindset,
She wanted to be
to-
infantry,
wow.
but
Cool.
at that time, are women allowed to even be infantry now?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's not my forte.
but yeah, she they helped me. Actually, I got to shoot expert. I got to shoot the rocket launcher, like 17, because they told me how to shoot with 2 eyes open, because they were like, if you're shooting here and this person's over here, you're dead.
So shoot with 2 eyes open.
Yeah. So what you would do is,
I'm the one that's always like doing like this to see better.
because you can see, like right here, I can see this, so I'll see
You
somebody's.
can see all your periphery with
Yeah.
both eyes open. Makes sense, right? Okay. What are a few of your daily habits or non-negotiables in your routine?
Meditation is something that keeps me sane.
Okay.
Breath work. I used to think that they were the same, but not necessarily.
But they're different.
Yeah. But you know, you live and you learn.
Yep. Meditation, breath work,
Fasting.
fasting. You fast every day?
For the most part,
To some degree.
I'll
Okay.
fast anywhere from 8 to 16 hours, sometimes 20 hours. It really depends on the day.
Okay.
Doing legs.
You do legs every day? Is that what you said?
In some degree, yeah.
Okay.
To some degree.
Because you don't want the chicken legs.
Yeah, never.
You don't have chicken
I'll
legs.
never have those.
You don't skip leg day. Okay.
And being open-minded in an aspect of not missing some sort of knowledge, because like I remember someone was asking me before, I was talking to someone that was overweight. And somebody comes like, yo, why are you listening to him? Because I wouldn't look like this if I didn't listen to everybody. You being closed-minded, you're going to miss knowledge that
Someone could share with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that would have been the next piece to you to elevate. And
To your
you
next
just
level.
you wanted to be closed-minded and not be humble enough to just listen, you know?
I respect that.
Those honestly are things that I do.
Daily non-negotiables. Okay, my next question. What is one underrated movement or stretch that everybody should be doing daily?
Pretzel.
Pretzel.
Yeah.
Good Lord, what's a pretzel?
It'll be like here, and here. This knee will be straight down, right? And then you'll look back.
Wait a minute. Pull the opposite one.
Yep.
Cross over.
Opposite back leg here.
Uh-huh.
In here. And you'll look back.
And you go that way. So do that, a pretzel, every day, as best you can.
There's probably like 4, honestly. The glute bridge reach. Like a glute bridge. You know what a glute bridge, right?
No, what's a glute
You know what a
bridge?
glute bridge is, when you like come here and you come up.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you'll reach over for spinal
like
rotation.
when you're like putting all the weight on your scapula,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're reaching over. Okay.
You're like almost like smelling your armpit.
Okay.
And then the QL stretch,
QL stretch.
your quadriceps lumborum for your lower back.
What's a QL stretch? Like, is this when you pull this?
You'll be here on the ground.
Okay.
You'll thrust your hip forward, and you'll turn this, bend this way, and you'll feel it down here, back here. You know,
A pretzel, the glute bridge,
the QL stretch.
QL,
Yeah, your quadriceps lumborum,
QL stretch. Okay. What was the other one?
and then the tactical frog, the kneeling split.
Tactical frog or kneeling split.
Yeah, it's basically like, imagine doing a split kneeling.
Oh, like the thing, like when you're like this and
Yeah.
you're sitting down.
Yep.
Okay. So incorporating those stretches into
Oh, and the hip flexor stretch.
hip flexor.
You know, like the kneeling, single leg kneeling. You're like doing a lunge,
Okay.
and your back knee's on the ground,
Yes.
and then you'll thrust from the hips.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then, okay. Do you have to pull the bottom leg up or no?
You don't necessarily have to.
Thrust your hips.
That's like
forward.
more the couch stretch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more
So
like
those 5 stretches every day. Underrated, and people should definitely incorporate those.
I
into
got a whole
their
YouTube video on that actually.
You do?
Yeah.
We're gonna link it. Okay, we'll link it. I want to see the pictures, but then we
I
can
got
link
you.
your video so we
I
can
got you.
stretch together.
I got you.
Cool. Okay, so the name of this podcast, Matt, is I Need More From You. Okay. So with that being said, what's next for you? I need more from you.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be really learning more,
Okay.
growing,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can give back to people. Really, so I can give back to myself first, and then I can give to people.
Give back to
Because
others.
I always look at the cup as half empty, only because if it was half full, a lot of times all people hear is full, and they'll just run it dry. So when I think of it as half empty, I need to keep going. I need to keep learning and filling up my cup, so this way I'll be able to give back and not be drained and depleted and just so, just dry.
I that's an interesting perspective, because when I think of the cup half full. Wait, what is it? Half
yeah, empty or half full, yeah.
Half empty. Okay. To me, I'm thinking, well, I'm looking at it with a negative perspective. But I think how you described that was a more positive way to, you even tweaked that analogy. So that's pretty cool. First time me hearing it like that. Okay, and so for people that want to follow you, want to learn more from you, because you have so much knowledge to already give and share. That's why you have so many success stories with your different clients and stuff. But how can people find you, Coach Matt?
So they can follow me at Hey Coach Matt on IG.
Hey, Coach Matt.
Yep.
Okay.
Just type in "Hey Coach Matt," I'll be right there. You can follow me on YouTube, same name as well.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get back into the YouTube, into the TikTok,
Posting more of the.
yeah, it's just so many.
It's a lot of different
many-
platforms to
I
keep
know.
up with. It's a lot of work for sure.
Everything. It's just.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I've had people that DM me and they're like, a lady, she had knee surgery, and she was like, I watched your knee video. If you just go to my YouTube and go to the playlist and go to the mobility section, like those videos right there, if you only did that,
You can rehab your knee.
Yeah, apparently.
And that's what she said? She's like,
what she said was, she was like, I got knee surgery. I couldn't even walk the field, but now I could sprint the field. I'm like, damn.
That's good.
Yeah.
Talk about, that's impressive. Okay.
And it wasn't just the knee video. She did the one what was it? It's like do these exercises if you want to live longer. That was the control articular rotations.
Okay.
Where you learn how to articulate the joints properly. Because we don't learn this stuff as kids. All we do, we tell kids to go outside and play. We don't actually teach them how to function properly.
Like the proper body mechanics. We just kind of wing it.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get stuck with that if it's never corrected.
And then we get mad when someone we get like egotistical. Like, I know how to use my body. Like, no, you don't.
And that's part of being open-minded and not being closed-minded because someone else is trying to tell you or teach you something. You never know what you can learn, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so what if there's anything else that you want to share with anybody, any other advice that you would like to give to our listeners?
I mean, really, if you're struggling with pain, I could help you. It's not so much that you're getting older. It's the fact that you have so much toxins in your body and your body's compensating to a certain point, and then it's just going to break. So
It's that dirty pond.
Yeah. Who would want to jump into a dirty pond?
Not me.
You'd
In
rather
Florida,
jump into
there's gators in there.
You'd rather jump into a stream and see those gators is basically that disease
Trying
that's going to kill you.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
things like that. And also, I've helped people that had the C word.
Okay.
And
You afraid we're gonna get canceled by saying that?
yeah. That's why I don't say this on my social medias, because
Okay.
I wait till like I actually talk to people and or that have got that thing in 2019.
The jab.
Yeah. Through hydrogen with Axiom H2. It's definitely helped. I've helped two people
You're
personally.
saying like with hydrogen water?
So with Axiom, I know through the company Axiom
I
H2.
feel like I've heard of this. Axiom. They make hydrogen water, right?
Yeah, my friend owns the company.
Okay.
And he lives in Costa Rica, actually.
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Nice. I want to go there one day.
There was a lady that had stage 4 cancer, and the doctor told her she was going to pass in 3 months. She got the machine. She called him back in like 30 days. She's like, wow, I don't feel like I'm going to die anymore. Even the doctor's like, it's a miracle, and blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, what was it? Oh, she was at stage 3 and almost at stage 2.
Wow.
And then
So there was no longer like the metastasis, or
she was just on her way to, being completely cancer free.
that's really cool.
So I was
By
like,
incorporating the hydrogen water.
yeah,
Okay.
through the machine. And
I need to look into this.
I've helped people with the tablets alone. There was
A lot of people are promoting the hydrogen tablets. I haven't tried them myself.
because it's a lot cheaper and easier. It's like $50 a month rather than like a few thousand. So and I get it. People may not have that.
Right.
So I wanted to actually. I'm gonna talk to Megalith Fitness actually about that, because I want to incorporate that into their gym as well.
Membership.
Yeah, because that would be great. What I wanted to do personally was I wanted to open a place that has that, to where like if you do have cancer, we'll give you a free gallon. Just bring your glass gallon, and just
Get your hydrogen water.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Because I'm not gonna be like.
You're not trying to say, "Oh, I'm curing it with this," but you've just seen it help people.
Yeah, I've seen it help them
and feel
exponentially.
better, their quality of life, and on their road to healing.
Yeah. Obviously, you need to change the way
A lot
you
of
eat,
things.
the way you think. You can't just be sitting there so stressed with your cortisol going crazy about how you have this and then expect like, well, I'm just going to take this.
Expecting a miracle
Yeah.
from one product.
Yeah.
It's multifactorial. The whole lifestyle has to come into play. But you've seen by making all of those necessary adjustments and truly changing your lifestyle, how it's been beneficial.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, I definitely want to check it out.
Oh, yeah,
Try it
it's-
myself.
That's something honestly that I'm gonna go to Costa Rica and I want to do their whole
Process.
because it's a huge process. Like they have other things too. It's like 15 different treatments,
Wow.
and they'll tell you like everything that's wrong with you.
You have to send this to me just so I can look at it.
I got you. I
That'd be
can't
cool.
wait to go. I want to go there and I'm gonna record everything, and
I have in my mind when I go to Costa Rica, I need to go to like a yoga and a surf camp so I can learn to surf, and like a whole wellness retreat.
yeah, this
and
wellness thing
get
here.
the hydrogen water there, or do whatever. I want you to send me whatever and
They
look
have
into
like
this. That'd be cool.
everything from like red light therapy.
Love it.
There's therapies, there's healings, there might be like a sound bath, and I forgot there's the whole
Sauna,
plethora
cold plunge,
of
all the
everything.
things.
Yeah, the whole plethora
love
of
that.
everything.
Love it. Okay, cool. Something for us to check out. All right, Coach Matt. So this was so fun. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a true pleasure. So
Thank you, I appreciate you.
highlight your IG one more time.
So my IG is Hey Coach Matt. You can put the underscore after the hey, but you don't really need to.
You type in "Hey Coach Matt," your IG will
Yeah.
pop up so they can
You'll
follow
see me just
you
like
and-
this.
Hey, muscles, natty. Thanks, Coach Matt. Crushed it.
Thank you.
Woo!
I appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much for listening today. Subscribe so that you can hear more. This podcast does not establish a patient-provider relationship, nor is it medical advice. If you'd like to see me as a patient, please contact my team so you can thrive.